Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Shiggles. I'm that guy Rickster,
I'm Darren.
and this week we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. But before we get into that, how has your week been since the last episode?
Um, it's been good to be honest. No complaints there.
Okay, that was just concise and to the point.
Well, I mean, if I had more to say, I would have said it, but it was pretty good, pretty normal. Nothing, outside of the box.
Okay. Well, thank you for asking about my week. My week was fine as well.
I don't really care about your week. I'm just joking, but
Bitch.
but yeah.
I mean, my week was okay for the most part. It was the first week of the new year, so I went into the new year saying like this year I'm not going to mess up writing down 2023 or saying 2023, and it happened twice for the week. So, but it's been a good first week. Just like you, I can't complain either, because it could have been worse. Much more could have happened, but it was a good week. Yeah, but
And then that's the best thing, to be honest.
yeah, and based on friends who have listened to the podcast, it seemed like they liked the episode, so that's a good sign. Yeah. Has anybody said anything to you about the podcast, the
I
episode?
mean, quite a few people have reached out and they have subscribed and they were like, "Oh, you really like the idea," and they also agreed with a lot of the points that we made as well. So we're heading in the right direction so far.
Okay, that's good. That's good. But with that out the way, let us jump into it. Because we did say we wanted to do like a segment where we talk about reality show, but this episode we're just going to talk about like things we've been watching. And one of those things that we both watch is Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Now the finale just happened, and
The Mormons, the Mormons, the Mormons.
I have words.
I mean, I have a lot of words too, but I mean, mine are a little bit more controversial because it's entertainment. It's not that deep for me, but
Well,
we'll
that's
see.
true. So let's get into it. Like, kick it off because you introduced me to this show, and to be honest, I'm really glad you told me about the show because it's been so good.
Well, this is my summary of it, to be honest. I started watching this show in the pandemic. I think that was their first season, like in 2020. I was just like, I'm into Housewives, so let me watch this show since it's brand new, like with fresh eyes. It hasn't been out there. It started off a little bit slow, but then you had like a few breakout stars. But to be really honest, if I look back to say fast forward like 4 years right now, I will be like, I would not expect the show to be this good, to be standing up to the greats like Beverly Hills or
Atlanta.
like Atlanta. It's like it's so good that it's the most talked about this season, and which is it all comes down to just having a great cast. Everybody was clocked in, plus also a newbie who she came then she stirs shit up.
But
So
not only that,
here
but
we
just
are.
like this finale alone, I think it has cemented Salt Lake City on like top tier of Housewives franchises. Just this
Which
episode
as it
alone.
should be, as it should be, to be honest. um Getting into the finale, to be honest, but then before I say that, with the entire season, Monica, she's brought something to the show that it has never been done before, and we've seen it before in different cases, maybe like when Kenya came on Atlanta, like in season 5, season 6, and this is now starting to seem like
True.
season 5, 4, 6, right about there is where something drastic happens to a lot of these shows where
Just stir it up.
they just take off. And I mean, people criticize her because, oh, she's not rich. She lives in a regular home. She has a bad relationship with her mother. She's playing the victim. But I honestly liked her from the first episode, and I don't like people really easily. But the fact that she came on the show and I was just like, bro, this is a star right here. That says a lot, and I'm not the only person who said that. Like, people were like standing her from the first episode. That shows how much of an impact, like, she came in and like she cemented herself. Like, this was her season. She narrated this season, all the drama surrounding her, and then leading up to the finale to find out that she had like a lot of prior connections. Well, we knew about Jen, but we didn't know like certain instances where she was on the show before when certain things happened, but she just wasn't there. She was just like there in passing. Like,
I think it's
She
in.
she she's a reason for this
I
season.
think it's in true drag. Not drag. More drag race. I think it's in true like Salt Housewives franchises where you meet one of the new cast, but it's not until later on when they start showing other clips you're like, oh, but wait, they were there. That person was there as
Because the
well.
show has a format of they introduce people and they film particular scenes almost like test runs,
Yeah,
and then they have really great ways of like editing them out if they didn't make it as like a friend of role or like a housewife. But when you fast forward into them actually being on the show, oh, you see scenes where they were actually along with the group, which is
yeah.
kind of good in a sense. But in her case, she was there for the negative times when they stole the
The
clutch
solar clutch from
from Mer-
Meredith.
from Meredith's show, from Meredith's store. Then she's also associated with Jen and all of that. So it's like it's a lot. It's
It
really a
it
lot.
is really a lot, but also I remember seeing her the first time, and I remember saying to you that I don't know how I feel about her as yet. But as the season went on, I started to like her because one thing, as Lisa said in this episode, they all can be dramatic, and she was at times. But as you mentioned, with her living like a normal home, not being rich or whatever, I think that's part of her charm in a way, and I think that's why people
But
gravitate to her.
also, we have to remember that not every single housewife came from riches.
Exactly.
People have gotten so spoiled to the point where they feel like everyone needs to come on the show and be rich and be filthy rich. Nene wasn't rich. A lot of the girls from Potomac are still not rich. I don't get why is it that people fight seeing like authentic people, like everyday people who they can relate to, who live a regular home, regular car. I don't know why such a bad thing is like whether these people are rich or not, it got nothing to do with my check. Like, I'm just watching for the entertainment. These side things, it's not really that important, but people make it a huge deal. And it was a huge deal for her because they're like, oh, she's not rich. She's doing this. She lived this. She's lived. I'm like, a lot of the girls aren't, especially in Salt Lake. Heather wasn't rich, but Heather kind of have like a little coin now because she's on the
Because of
show
the
for
show
obvious
and
reason.
her book, I
So
guess.
give some people some time. Exactly.
But
Right.
I
So
just think that's just part of the charm of the whole thing. But anyway, I have notes, so let me pull up my notes.
let's get into them. Let's hear what you have to say about the the episode because I lived for the episode. So
Okay, so from a
we'll see.
production standpoint, because I kind of
Hmm.
like did this in school, I like production and editing and stuff. From a production standpoint, I would say this was like genius because they have been teasing this one clip of Heather getting that phone call from like, wasn't it from last season? And for it to like, and what I like as well is as much as they were teasing that clip from then, you didn't have the other members of the cast like just talking about this thing that is going to happen because they genuinely didn't know about it until Heather said it to them. And I liked that.
Now let me say this: you brought up production, which is like a huge key point to this particular finale, this entire
Of
season
course.
surrounding Monica and shit like that. People are speculating that production knew about it. And I'm like, it kind of makes sense because Jen sent her a cease and desist for
Yeah.
that same page before. I think production also plays a huge role into. I know she did all of this and some of it might have been to get on the show, but I also feel like production also played a role in that. Like, okay, this person is extremely affiliated with Jen. This person has a lot of history with Jen, which would make it easier for her to transition into the show because she has like maybe almost like a reference as to what she could bring to the show. Do I think they knew about the reality Vonti's thing? Of course I think they
Of
did.
course they knew.
But they just kept quiet about it so that they could all blindside the entire cast to give us this finale. Because mind you not, she knew, Monica in herself knew that one day they would find out, and she said it. And what I like about it is that when they brought it up, she did not deny that, oh, I never did this, whatever. She said, yes, I did it, but that's not the whole story. I'm also a part of it. It was basically to take down Jen, and y'all end up as collateral damage.
But
What more do you want from that? Like, she took ownership immediately.
but that's where I kind of have like an issue because she said she did this whole thing to take Jen down, right? Why did the other women have to be a part of it? Why did they have to get involved?
But it's also important to note that she said she's not the only one who ran the
Well,
page.
that is
So
true.
that is important, meaning you're aware of what's going on. But when something is a collective group effort, there are other people who are like contributing to that shit. So other people may have had beef or maybe just thought it was funny to just put everybody there on it just to, so she might not have been. Her reason could have been to take down
Which is
Jen.
what she said.
The other could be just like, exactly. So, I mean, but none of the ladies are want to go to hear that because they're behind it, which is what I want to comment on
No,
next
no,
too.
definitely. I definitely feel like some of the other women on the show were also sending stuff into that page.
Of course, the word this is housewife. Everybody send dirt, watch dirt, read dirt so they can use it at the right time.
Because Monica said it at the table when Angie was getting all riled up, which Angie's voice sometimes irritates me. But Monica said it at the table, like, you need to be quiet before I tell your involvement, like what you had to do with this.
Which is right and exactly so, to be honest. And what I'm saying, what I don't understand about this issue, I'm not blaming Monica for this. If it's one thing you've always heard me said is that I don't mind people doing shady stuff, good stuff. It doesn't matter as long as you live in your truth and you own up to it. There's not much further you can go from there. Because if I come to you and say, "Hey, you robbed the bank," and you're like, "Well, yes, I did it, so what now?" Where do we take that conversation from? You already admitted it, so there's no back and forth that's going to happen. And I don't understand how they're making this, and not just the ladies on the show. I understand that it's a little bit shocking that this person actually made it onto the show, but the energy that they're giving to Monica right now, they did not give that energy to
They
Jen.
really
Jen
didn't.
terrorized Jen terrorized them on the show. Jen did a lot of things off the show. And plus Jen is a criminal. Heather, who was, I mean, I kind of have to admit, she kind of mothered a lot here in this episode. Receipts, proof, time, and everything. That's meme worthy, and that's how they make it round on social media. But she was Jen's friend. Jen gave you a black eye while she was in court. You protected Jen, and you're mad about Monica for just some random page where a lot of people run random pages online.
But I
You're not
think
mad that she was robbing and pillaging old people. This is what you're mad about. This is so weird.
But the reason why she's mad though is because they were also being terrorized on the page. So I think Meredith also said something at the table. She's like, "You sat here for 3 months. You knew you were a part of this. Why didn't you say something to us about it? Because we were being
I'm
terrorized for 3 years."
I understand sometimes it's not the easiest thing to come up, to be honest. Oh, hey, I was robbing people. Jen didn't just bring it up that she was
No,
robbing
but would
people,
she have
but
brought
the
up that she
court.
was robbing people though? She wouldn't have brought
Never,
that
but
up.
that's the thing. But this is the thing. Jen lied so much and was like, "Oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that," when she damn well know that she did. Monica, on the other hand, knew it was coming. Before the episode even aired, she tweeted, "Here the fuck we go." She knew exactly what was coming from the fans and what was coming from the ladies because she already know that this was going to come up at some particular point, which brings me back to the point that she could have also made a deal with production to insert all of this and to eventually give Heather the tea, all of this, whatever, whatever. So she knew this blow up was coming at some particular point. So she was prepared for it.
But I also feel like when they were at the table and Heather said, "I have a question for you, Monica." I felt at that moment Monica knew this was it. This is the time where
Which
everything is
is
going to come
true.
out. Because I feel like honestly, production probably tipped her off and be like, "Hey, Heather is going to bring it up." And I think that is why she was so calm by the table, because she had time to figure out what she was going to do. Because if you look at throughout the season, whenever anybody said anything to Monica, Monica would like fly up and like react. She was so calm, so collected. I think she knew in that moment, this is it. So there's no point of me getting upset. Let's just get it out.
But to be really honest, and I think I've said this to you a lot, I like when people play the villain role, know that they're playing the villain role, live in the fact that they're playing the villain role, and don't hide their hand or act like. So regardless of if she thought it was coming up or wasn't coming up, the fact that she was just like, okay, accountability. Yes, I did it. So, you know, That makes me like her even more because I've said it too. Some people make good TV. And people like to curse and chastise certain people, but the very fact that you have to curse and chastise them, this simply means that the person is doing something right to bring the drama, to bring the ratings. Honestly, people on Housewives shows and on Twitter, they were like, oh, but this is immorally wrong and da da da. We get it. It's not morally correct. Of course, we get it, but it's not like a, oh, I killed you sort of situation. This is something that anybody can get over. And it brings drama to the show and ratings. So, I mean,
But at the end of the day, Housewives is off for the drama, and like
but
this
then,
alone made this show have one of the biggest airings that they
finale,
had. So
yeah, that they had.
clearly, people loved it. I mean, we can say what we
Because,
want to say, but at the end of the day, we are watching the show for the drama.
but the question I want to ask is when did the fans become so morally correct?
Because that's the
they
era
they
we live in
live
now.
they have this stance where this is too much and this is too far. Mind you not, certain situations that have happened, I can agree that it's too far. However, this, in comparison to other things that have happened on other show, I can understand it being upsetting for the ladies, the cast, of course. But for the fans outside, like, it's not that deep. To be real honest. And someone brought up the point, this is the last thing I want to say about it being morally correct. Someone brought up the point that a lot of y'all on social media run these pages on Twitter as well, where you trash talk these women and you do all the shit. So why are y'all on these pages trying to be morally correct now about the same thing you're doing that she did? Is it because she was smarter and she used it and got on the show?
Because people want to be upset, but to make just what you just said, if is it because you want to be on the show, you do realize that the best friend who she said started the page is now having like interviews and like lives on top because she's going to
Because
expose
everybody's looking
her.
for a little bit clout. Exactly. And it seemed all premeditated that this was because sometimes people do shady things. She could have like, let's all run this page together, knowing damn well that she coming to expose the girl a
Yeah,
couple of
because
years from now.
from what I've seen, like all the voice notes and whatever she's ever sent to her, she saved them. So
That's a lot. I
that's
would
a
never in
lot.
my life go through a friend's conversation to save all of that to expose. I don't have that
But
time.
here's my other thing that I wanted to ask you though. Do you think she could ever come back from this, like to be on the show again? Because honestly, I don't think any of the women on the cast are going to want to film with her or ever be in the
But
same room
here's the
with her.
but here's the thing, and here's the thing about production. They have to remember that this is a job. And regardless of if you want to film with this person or not, when those cameras go up, you have to clock in. There's two things you can do. You can either clock in or clock out or leave the job.
That's true.
Bravo is not going to look at such a highly talked about, rated season and be like, oh, let's get rid of this girl just because of some damn stupid Instagram page. And if they actually did, they'll be dumb. Because, like, this got everybody, even my friend who watched a lot of Housewives shows, never watched Salt Lake City. And he was like, I need to watch this because all of y'all are talking about it. You think Bravo, if Bravo is dumb enough to remove her. Also seen people on the internet standing 10 toes behind her. Remove her from the show? That would be crazy. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Drama sells, regardless of if it's negative or good. It does sell.
That's true, but I don't think I
She should.
I don't for me, I mean we loved the drama, don't get me wrong. I loved the episode. But I don't think I mean, I'm not on a reality show like that where I have to clock in with people, but I don't think I could ever want somebody like that around me. Could you would if
Which is true. I'm not saying the ladies don't have a way to feel about it, but I just feel as if they're gonna have to work past it at some particular point. And to be honest, Mary M. Cosby is living for it because she been posting Monica on her story. She was saying at the Bravo, I think it's BravoCon or something like that, pray for Monica because like she knew what was coming. But I mean, they've all done and said shitty things about each other, but I guess they're more looking at it like, oh, us four, Lisa, Heather, Whitney, and
Meredith.
Meredith, they're actually like the core because they're the OGs, and they're like, oh, they feel slighted because she infiltrated her way in and da 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 da. And I mean, you can do all of that to get on a relation. Props, props, like props.
But also, I think it's going to make for a very interesting season to come because I just don't see how do they move forward from this.
All right, let me just say this. The first thing we need to see is the reunion. The reunion will tell us a lot about how next season is going to look. That's the first thing. Also, she needs to be there for the fallout, for this fallout. Because if you just take the person away, then the next season is just going to leave this big empty space because we did not address this fallout. She needs to be there for the fallout as well. That's one. That's also another thing. What I've noticed that this show, because the show has a format, even across franchises, whenever you have somebody like that where they're like on an island by themselves, the show finds way to keep them on the show and then force them to address it. They do this by like finding like a friend for them that is outside of this group. So it's like they introduce somebody else that can be a friend with them, and sometimes you see that friend pushing the other ladies and be like, she's been accountable and whatever. I think they've done that a lot.
That's very true. I've seen that.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that is the way that they.
I mean, what more can we say about it? All I
There's
can
nothing much.
say is it was a very good finale. But Monica girl, I just don't know how they're going to come back from this. I don't.
Listen, I don't care what nobody say. They can tweet, they can talk, but that's my mother.
Oh, I know you
Like,
love her. I know you love
and I'm
her.
gonna stick this. I'm gonna stick beside her. But yeah, good finale. Can't wait to see the reunion. Like it
Oh
was, it
yeah,
was a great
it
season.
really
It was
was.
a
It
great
really and
season.
it really was a good season. Very entertaining.
They can only go up from here.
Well, let's see. And with that, let's take a break. And we're back. So, another show that we both watched this week that, I mean, season 16, it is Drag Race. Let's get into it. What are your thoughts of this first episode?
I have a lot of
Oh,
thoughts.
God,
Cut
again?
that, cut, cut that split premiere
Oh,
out.
yeah,
Cut it
definitely.
out. Cut it out. And it's one of the number one things I see people complaining about, that they do understand that you get more time to
See all
meet
the
six
girls.
people as to 14 people, but it's run dry. The ship has sailed. It's mad boring because I remember watching the episode, and for the first 30 minutes, I was just like, "This is mad boring, bro." Like all of these random Kias, and when I say Kias, I mean random girls, like random women, like these random people coming in to talk to them. And of course, they're celebrities, but it has gotten to the point where a lot of valuable time that we can spend getting to know the queens, getting a little scuffle, little drama because the queens are interacting with themselves, are now cut to these particular things that's mad annoying. The format is just too much. Like, bring it back to the queens, because I never started enjoying the episode until it got to the runway. That says a lot. I didn't enjoy the mirror because we were talking about trauma and all of that, and I get it. We go
Which
through
is a
trauma, but
part of
like,
Drag Race now. Everybody has a trauma
but can
story.
but can we get back to the little cat fights, the little shades, a little comment like, "Girl, look how orange you look." Like these moments are gone, and I realize that they're gone not because of the queens, because the queens are naturally shady and good perform, but how the format is set up and producers asking them to talk about when they were left at the bus station is ruining the show and is making it boring. And a hundred of thousands of people, when I read the comments we're talking about, they were so bored because you feel like you're finally watching the beginning of the season after episode 3, because the first two just feels like filler. That's what I think
I
too.
agree.
Cut that
They
shit
need to
out.
cut out the split premiere because at this point, I mean, they've been doing it since like what season 6 was the first time they did it. So at this point, it's like come with something else because I was saying they could even probably do like a 2 hour premiere, so that way we get introduced to everyone and we'll
Or
still
as
get to
was
see them.
or as someone say, just drop the two first episodes immediately.
Thank you.
So you're not waiting in limbo the other week for these other 7 6 people. Like, drop episode 1, drop episode 2, so fans get to watch the episodes back to back. It's still a split premiere, but you get to meet everybody one night. Then the next week we just go into episode 3.
Didn't they do that 1 year though? I think they did that with season
I
12.
think I think so. Maybe it was on like VH1
Yeah,
or
I do
some shit
remember
like
them
that.
dropping both episodes the same time. And that made sense because we got to see like 2 hours of everybody and we got to meet all of them. But with that said, let's get into the episode because Who
I do not
who?
have a I do not have a favorite as yet. But let me just say
I
that.
like three persons so
Um,
far.
but let me say the one that they're sleeping on the most. This particular seven, a mandatory meeting. I love the pun. I love
Oh,
the
I love
fucking
that
pun of
name. That name is so good.
that. When Rupa was like calling a mandatory meeting, and the girl was like,
Oh, that's her
"Shit, I did not
name.
realize that that's her name."
That was
I was
funny.
like, that was funny. But I feel like people are sleeping on her. She is highly camp, but it's not camp and comedic in the I guess they are funny, but not in the oh, all right, another comedy queen sort
Like
of
the
way. It's
ones
kind
who
of just
always come
different.
on and be like, I'm the funny one. I'm kooky.
Exactly, which is what I said last night to you when you and I were having a conversation. If she ever fixes her makeup, it's over for them.
Yeah, because I mean, she has the personality.
It's
She
over
has the
for them because
talent.
she
She's
has the
very good.
personality. Exactly, that's it. Um, but controversial. What do you think of Queens lip syncing to their own original song
As
as a talent show and voguing and doing all of that? Do you think that is a talent? Do you think they should cut it out? Do you think it's too much? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, what I mean, it depends on how they do it. For instance, when Anitra did hers and she had like the whole martial arts thing, that's something we've never seen before. So she made it different. I think if you're going to do something like that with your own track and you're going to be lip syncing, I mean, we go to drag shows to watch these people lip sync, you know? So that's like talent in itself. But I mean, add something else to it to make it stand out. Because if you're just going to come and lip sync to a song, we've seen it. What else can you do? So I think even this one with I think Mirage with the whole heels click clacking, like that was
Oh, that
different.
was different.
That was
Yeah.
different. When
Tsunami
Amanda,
bored the hell out
oh,
of me.
Tsunami was boring, definitely boring. But even Amanda, I honestly I rewatched Amanda's talent show piece 4 times because it was just really funny. Even though she was just lip syncing to a song, but it was really
Unhinged.
funny. And the other one that I really loved her talent was Sapphira. I mean, did you realize she was singing live?
I did.
Yeah,
I thought it was a soundtrack at first,
that
but then
was different.
when someone commented that did she change the words, I was like, oh, she's actually singing,
Yes.
which is good. But let me give my 2 cents on that piece. One, I don't think it's not talent. Maybe it's not entertaining enough for you, but to write your own song, if we look at Beyonce and say Beyonce write her own song, that's talent. Why would we look at these queens, even though they're not to the level of Beyonce, that is not talent? I don't get why people are saying that it's not a talent. These
I'm not
these
saying it's not
pop
a
girls, and
talent.
hear me out. No, but this is a conversation online.
Okay.
People are saying that, oh, it's not a talent, whatever, whatever. I'm like, can you write your own song, lip sync to it, perform it? That is a talent, because when these other pop girls do it, y'all say that they're talented. So I think we should stop discrediting them to say, oh, it's not a talent. It might not be up to par. And even using the references of pop girls, like there's a lot of pop girls who does it well. There's a lot that doesn't do it well. It's the same for the queens. A lot of them are going to come and they're going to hit it and they're going to do it well, and a lot are not going to. Yes, I understand it's boring and we've seen it, but we also watch Beyonce and Lady Gaga on the stage performing and lip syncing or singing and doing the same thing all the time. We don't say they be doing the same shit all the time. This is what these people do at their shows primarily. It's their craft, is their talent. So I don't think people should say, "Oh, it's not a talent."
No, I
Not
honest,
everybody can sing to
but
do an opera like what's her
Sapphira,
name did. Not everybody can dance. Not everybody can duck walk like Anitra. Different people have different things that they can do.
but
I
like
understand we've seen it before, but this is primarily the thing that queens do.
but like I just said, lip sync yes to your own song yes, but add something to it to make it stand out, and then you might just become the winner of that season, that episode. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
Because of course it does
well,
take
I
talent to do
guess.
it, but I mean, do something to spice it up. Because remember now we're at season 16, so if you're just going to come and like walk down the runway and lip sync to the song and not like do anything to make it stand out, your chances are you're going to be in the bottom.
But let me be really honest about that and a perspective that I like to look at as well. A lot of the times when these girls do these outside of the box, sing, perform, show something from their culture, even though it's damn good as hell, a lot of time the judges don't put them in the top.
That's true.
I as a viewer, wanting to be on the show, sees that, okay, when the girls perform opera, when they do this, rarely they ever make it in the top. But when they split and dip and kick, that's when they make it in the top. You don't think my brain will be studying to come on the show to do that because I want to be in the top?
Or they make Rue laugh.
That's it.
Because that's the
So
show. You have to make Rue laugh.
I think that's a part of it as well. Rue likes to see the extra split, clicks, clacks, all of these things. Aside from laughing, this is one thing I've noticed about RuPaul. As long as you can split and flick and do all of this, that will gag her as well.
True.
I think a lot of the queens watch and realize this and realize I'm not funny, but I'm gonna do some splits and some dips over here to try to get into the top.
But that's true.
So it's like these little things all attribute to it.
But so far, I mean, watching the reveal, I always like pick people I like from the reveal. So I liked Mirage from the reveal. The other two that I like watching this first premiere, I also like Dawn, Amanda. Oh wait, so it's three more and Sapphira. So I like those four. So it's Sapphira, Mirage, Dawn, and Amanda. I like those four so far.
I have to get into. I have to see everybody before I tell you who, but I think from this one, a lot of them are interesting, but the only person that has really stood out to me is Amanda Termite, and it's just because of her quirkiness, funny, also the foolishness. And I always look
And
for the
that says a
underdog
lot.
person who have the ability to grow. I love people who grow, and a lot of my favorite people on the show have been people who have, come with like this underdog and they've grown.
Bitch, you need to stop lying. You always go for the cunty fishy girls. Stop lying.
Which I am not lying. No, let's be honest.
I'm the one who always goes for the underdogs. I'm the one.
You go for the black girls.
No,
you
no,
go for the
I do not. I do not.
Yes, you do. You do.
I always go for the underdogs, and I always say that one is going to make it far. You are always the one with the fishy ones.
All right, let's be honest right here. I love fish. I love a girl because I think it's an art form, but it's also an illusion. If you can come and trick me that you're actually a woman, even if you don't look 100% womanly and you'd be doing all of that, I will automatically like, especially if you're a fashion queen, because I love the fashion on the show, right? But I've also looked out for the people who have growth. And let me give you examples before you start talking shit. I liked Naomi. Naomi wasn't fierce for the first 6-7 episodes, and this is Naomi Smalls, but she grew so much into the Naomi that we know today. It was the same thing for Shangela too. Like Shangela wasn't the most whatever, but she's grown. And I've mentioned a lot of times when I see other people like Jasmine Kennedy and shit like that, you don't watch Canada's Drag Race, but there's this girl called.
Let's correct that. I stopped watching it after season 2.
So basically, you don't watch the season. But anyways, there are a lot of people 4
seasons.
Regardless of that, you still don't watch it. But there are people who I've seen, and I'm like, this person have the potential. They just need more time. Just like what's his name, Sminty Drop from UK. They just need more time. I'm always able to point out people who I feel like when they do come back, you're going to get the full-rounded person as to what they should have been. So I like underdogs too. Well, of course I go for the more fishy, slay, give me a runway, turn a look on the runway, because I like to see good looks.
At least you say that part, because all the girls you've mentioned, they're all very femme, very fishy, very cunt. So
because the illusion of a drag queen is to look like a woman, right? I know RuPaul says to be funny, but most people don't go to a drag show to see to laugh. They want to see these queens split and dip and serve a look and be extremely fishy. I'm just being honest. That's what I like to see. The illusion.
So
the fierceness.
For this episode, though, what was like one of the standout moments for you so far? Was there a standout moment, by the way?
I just mean, generally, we kind of like share the same views and opinions to some extent.
Yeah.
But I feel like with the whole Monica situation, you're a little bit more rational. Well, I don't care.
Yeah.
This is drama. This is TV. This is not everyday life. This isn't real reality like We know there's no need for us to be real upset. Like it's just a TV show. I don't understand why people can watch it, take the entertainment aspect of it, and go about their day. Like Monica creating some random pages that affecting anybody live outside of that. So it's just like
What's the point?
that's mother right there. She came, she clocked in, and she put Salt Lake City on the map more than them those four and other people. So what else you want from that?
Okay, so for the talent show now, I'm my favorites for the talent show. In or well, not really in order. I did love Safara's. It was very good. Lip syncing live to like an opera song and making it funny was good. Amanda with that song was good. I
And then the queens are already sleeping on a mandatory meeting.
right.
What the hell?
What's her name? Q. As much as she's been kind of like bitchy since the episode started, but her talent was unexpected and funny.
Yeah,
That was
Q was
good.
good. Q
So I
was good.
like, and then of course, Mirage with the heels clicking. I like that. So those are the four. Those were the four standout talent shows to me.
To be honest, the ones that were bad weren't so bad.
That's the truth. They really weren't that
As in
bad.
meaning like collectively, if you put all 14 queens together, those would have been like safe.
Yeah.
Except that girl that came out with a towel and the bathsuit and
Oh,
I'm like, girl.
that was horrible. That was a choice that should not
I'm like,
never
girl,
have
that's
been made.
her reveal and Tsunami's reveal. I'm like, okay.
But I know Tsunami is Candy's drag daughter, but if
I don't like Candice. I don't really
no, but
care.
if you realize her outfits were reminiscent of stuff that Candy wore before. The same, the
Sometimes
red body leotard looking thing, like Candy has worn that.
I understand that they're like, a family, but sometimes
Be
you
different.
can be a little bit you can be a little bit different. Like I'm not the same person as my siblings.
Exactly. But and then
But you can tell that we're siblings, but I'm not the same person.
the other thing that was new, I love the fact that immunity is back. I've been saying this for seasons now. They need to bring back immunity, and I love that it's back.
Wait, but what happened to this whole Rata Queen? Like,
I was about to say that part. That's the other thing that's new.
to be honest, this is reminding me
The
of
circle.
like no, like Top Model, where it was so good, and then all of a sudden, like they just start adding these random. We don't need all of that. We don't
Well,
need all
that's
of
true
that.
because that was when Top Model
Because
started to
look at it this
end.
because look at it this way. Aside from a mandatory's makeup, she did damn well in that challenge.
She did.
Right, she even made Rule laugh and all of that shit. But these girls was like, oh no, I'm putting her down the bottom, down the bottom, down the bottom, down the bottom. I was like, bro, what the hell? Y'all, no, they were going in. I'm like, separate her from the mug like she was never bad. Like, y'all are putting her down there with Tsunami and the one that was in
The towel.
the towel. That's crazy.
It was just the makeup for her. But the whole Rita Queen thing reminded me a lot of the circle is just that it's a triangle. So I hope this is not going to be something that's going to be for the entire season because we don't need that. I hope it's just for the premiere.
Shit about to piss me off for real.
And not only that, when it no let for the lip sync, I mean the top two made sense. I think if Rue was the one picking the top two, those they would have been the top two. But what the hell was Q doing to break my, to be honest, I was expecting more from a break my soul lip sync. What was that?
Wait, so hold on. Wait, I feel like these were the two best lip sync to that song, but Sapphire kind of did the thing when the breastplate fell off. I was bouncing, yo. That shit
Yes.
killed me.
It was very good. But I just don't know what Q was doing, like, especially when she started doing that
Bro,
trembling spinning thing. What was that?
she was trying to give something, but it wasn't giving.
It
But
was not.
yeah, someone said, well, the fact that they got "Break My Soul" as the first lip sync song, budget for the season done. That was so funny. That was so funny. Because Beyonce probably charged her arm and a leg for
Probably.
that song.
But all in all, I have to say, it wasn't that bad premiere. We've seen better premieres, but
Just very boring.
but I honestly feel like these seven, they were strong. It was a strong group to come in first. So hopefully going into next week with the next seven, we might see something different, something more enticing, but this first episode wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I guess so. But we'll see. Because this season is probably ending in May or April either way.
That's true. It's probably going to be another long one.
Yeah.
But with all that said, guys, this was another episode of Shiggles. I'm that guy Rickster, and he's.
Darian.
And we will catch you guys next time. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And you can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. Bye.
Bye, guys.